Hello everyone, this is Babamots. Welcome to another Homeworlds game commentary. I'm trying something a little different. I saw that Fork of Nature and Crit1Calends were planning to play a live game, and I thought I'd hop in and start making a video, because it happens to be that I've got a few moments right now. They've both picked yellow medium Gemini systems, and nothing too surprising has happened yet. Crit was possibly considering whether to continue mirroring Fork by picking a small yellow ship. Yep, they decided to keep the mirror going. Fork building green again. Crit might decide to do the same. I think it's Roundabout who's been referring to this type of start as the no-mids opening, where both players just keep on building and trading in their own home until somebody has to open up a larger ship size. All right, Fork's moved out to a colony now. Crit, of course, could do exactly the same. They could have moved to a large blue and made it continued the mirroring. They moved to a small blue, which opened up the mediums, but if Fork builds a medium, then Crit would get to build a large. Fork moving their yellow to the colony, where they can more safely build more yellow, and they're discouraging Crit from building any more yellow, since with yellow just outside their home, Fork's threatening an overpopulation if Crit builds more yellow. Crit in the chat says I've been avoiding Geminis lately. But not this game. Alright, Crit mirrors the yellow move, Fork moves blue, ship to a large green colony. Crit's doing the same things, just at small stars instead of large. Okay. Crit opened up the medium greens, and Fork took one. And it doesn't have the problem that blue has, because Crit didn't immediately open up the large greens for Crit to build, like I was mentioning for the blues. Crit also takes a medium green. Very, very mirrored so far. Fork takes the last medium green, so that's the end of the mirroring. Crit gets aggressive, moving to Fork's colony. I don't think Crit is actually going to want to sacrifice their only red ship to do anything about this, but it's a thing that's happening nonetheless. Fork, I think, has a pretty good advantage here, since they've actually got a colony, a factory, which they've just used. I wonder if Crit would have been better off sacrificing the little yellow to catastrophe these blues, but no, this is better. Crit's blues are safer than Fork's are. At some point, somebody's going to want to get another red. I think if Fork got another red right now, they could take this invading green. Oh, you know, they could even trade even their large for a red to capture this green. They wouldn't want to trade a smaller ship for green, since Crit could then... Or sorry, they wouldn't want to trade a smaller... one of these smaller ships for red, since Crit could capture it. Okay, Fork getting the factory in again. Yeah, the factory's looking like a big deal for Fork. And that does put two greens in their home. Having two greens in your home is a little bit of a liability when one of them is your large. I think Crit just got jealous of the factory and sacrificed green to rebuild it at home. The problem with this is Fork can catastrophe Crit's large by moving these greens in one at a time. Say move in the medium green, threatening to capture the reds if Crit doesn't capture it, and then move in the small green for the catastrophe. This is a lot different doing commentary on a live game rather than getting to hit the next button myself. I like it. It keeps me from dwelling too much on any one position. Okay, Fork trades out one of those greens. I think I would have pushed those in for the overpopulation, but bypassing the small yellow to get the medium is pretty nice too. That does make Fork the first player with a second yellow ship. Crit rebuilds that medium green. I think Fork should be thinking about spreading out their yellows or spreading out their reds. You know, maybe even trading for yellow here in a colony where they could build immediately. I think I would have traded the large instead of the small, since by trading out the small, they'll give Crit a chance to build another large ship. Yeah, they took it back. I would think about trading the B3 for Y3. If Crit builds the B3, then they get overpopulated. Oh, sacrifice. Sacrifice to move into blue? Okay. Yeah, that's quite good. Since Fork has another yellow, they haven't sacrificed their only yellow ship to do this. And Betelgeuse is definitely a vulnerable colony. Crit mirroring still, sort of. Sacrificing a little yellow to invade Crit's vulnerable colony. Fork has more red to spare, though. Fork looking at invading Crit's colony, so larges invading colonies where mediums were the largest, and now a medium invading a colony where small is the largest ship. So the re-invade. Worth mentioning that Crit is now completely out of yellow ships. Crit sacrificing a little blue to trade for more yellow. Okay, they got the yellow back. Okay, Fork sacrifices to capture the greens. Yeah, those greens were a little scary outside of Fork's home. Not too bad since Crit didn't have the yellow to try an overpopulation. But it does now, but of course it also gives Fork 2 greens outside of Crit's home now. Let's see, Crit moved a yellow into Altair. Fork can just capture that if they feel like it. I'm not sure what that was about. Oh, it looks like Fork may be out of time. I'm going to finish this cast the regular way, now that the game has been finished. I've added the colorblind symbols because that's how I operate now. Alright. So, Crit has just moved a little yellow here. Fork can capture it if they feel like it. Fork is really winning pretty handily right now. They've got a lot more material. Let's see what Fork decides to do. They instead trade their large green for a large yellow. That is quite safe since Crit doesn't have anywhere to build that large green. Let's see what Crit does about it. They block the large green build by trading for another red. That seems pretty good. It would be nice. They would like, I think, to have another red so they could sacrifice and capture this little guy and just generally have more red on hand. Let's see what Fork picks. They build that green. If they build that green, then Crit gets to build the large green. Although they might not want to, since Fork has... Remember, this is a small universe, so all three of these green ships of Forks... Oh, wait, I can draw. Watch me go. Alright. As I said, all... Oh, I missed. All three of these green ships are parked outside of Crit's home and could move in directly. Alright. So, Crit might not want to actually build that large green. But they are running out of ways to block that build. They could discover a large green system, but that's getting pretty desperate. Oh, okay, that's pretty good actually. They trade their blue for a large green. The trouble with that is now they're completely out of the blue economy, and so Fork can run away with the other two blues if they feel like. Crit, sacrificing and capturing that little green. That also blocks the large green build for Fork, since Fork would have to have 3 greens together in order to build that last one. Alright, Fork sacrificing the medium green. Okay, with a little switcheroo here. They've left the option for Crit to catastrophe these 3 smaller greens, but Fork has picked up another large ship. That's good. That's a good play. Alright, does Crit take the catastrophe? I think they should. And they do. Alright. Where does that leave us? Boy, Crit only has 4 ships. Fork has a large ship more, and quite a bit of other material. Okay, yeah. Oh, Crit has one ship of each color. That's cute. Alright, let's see what Fork picks now. Crit only has 1 red ship, so they can't really use it to defend their colony because it's got to stay in place to defend the homeworld, so Fork can safely invade this colony. That's a good choice. Let's see. Crit can't attack that. They've got to run away. They can run away with the large, optionally sacrificing the little yellow to do it. Creating a new empty threat that could become real. Crit, again, can't sacrifice the red to capture this medium yellow, but if Crit gets a chance to build, then they could turn this into if they get a chance to build a red ship, that new red ship could be sacrificed to capture this medium yellow, so it could become a real threat, except that this yellow can just run away. I don't like this over much, since this blue is now in a green system and can't continue to run. If I was Fork, I would consider capturing this little yellow, but I would also consider moving one of my larges. It could even be... No, I wouldn't move the home large into Deneb, but they could sacrifice medium yellow to move one of their other larges into Deneb, or they can just run away. That is the safer thing. Alright, what does Crit do now? Maybe their little yellow should just run away? Maybe. or sacrifice for a move into caster. Oh, I don't like that very much. If Fork builds another blue, they take out one of Crit's large ships. Fork will be up 3 large ships to 1. Crit will only have 2 ships left. Boy, this is... any way you slice it, Crit's in trouble. But I think that other move would have made things worse. Okay. Fork builds more red. Crit now, they might want to save that little yellow. That's pretty good. And Crit now has enough red that they could actually sacrifice for a capture if need be. Okay, Fork fortifying their colony. Crit trading out for more yellow. That surprises me a little. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. They certainly need more of something, although the Homeworlds doesn't seem like the right place to be stashing yellows, at least not for long it won't be. If Fork builds another yellow in caster, say, then Crit's yellow star is going to be in danger. Let's see what Fork picks. Oh my, let's see. A G3 sacrifice. Oh, putting a... Did that just put the B3 star back in the bank? Is that what's happening here? They built blue and red. Okay, yep. Fork just got a few new ships, although it was a G3 sacrifice. They didn't actually end up with more blue than they started with. They didn't end up with more large ships than they started with. They did, however, get more blue, so they've got plenty of blue to wipe out Crit's blue home star. They just need some yellow now. I mean, they technically had enough blue before, but now they've got even more. So that's nice. Crit thinking about getting out of the blue economy entirely. They may be trying to wrap up the rest of the yellows before Fork can get enough to finish causing trouble. I don't know that it's enough. Crit could start pushing yellows into Fork's home and possibly overpopulate their star, especially since their only large at home is yellow. That's something Fork will need to watch out for. Okay, Fork gets more red. Boy, this is a packed colony. And the large reds are now open. Crit might want to build that. The, Yeah, my first instinct is that Crit should build that large red, but they are so close to being wiped out by star demolition that maybe Crit needs to continue getting the yellows out of the bank. Let's see what they decide. They move their red out of their home. That's their only red ship. I don't know how I feel about that. I think, well, okay, fine. If they had built the large red, Fork could have destroyed it with a sacrifice. I'm going to try to draw again. Okay, let's see here. Fork could have destroyed it, sacrificing the Y2 to move 2 reds into Crit's home. Okay, I have fun with the whiteboard. I'll try not to overuse it. But Crit's red is no safer in this colony than it was at home, so I don't know what that does for them. Building green. If they get enough green, there's some chance they could take out the caster colony, which would be very nice for them. Uh-oh, Fork decides it's time to sacrifice Y3. They're at least thinking about it. We're taking out the blue star. Does not leave Crit with very much yellow, however. I think that's premature. I bet Crit will take that back. Especially since that was their only large at home, and Crit can just come into Fork's home with a large ship. And they've got some red, so that actually is a danger. Yeah, Crit wisely took that back. And they realized that building an R3 was just fine because Crit can only destroy that R3 by losing the only red they've got and sacrificing a large, which Fork would not mind at all. I think so. Crit is looking at moving into Lily Yellow. That star demolition is possible, but they should start with the large. I think they should start with the large, because if they start with the small, then Fork can move or trade this yellow. And then Crit can only achieve the demolition by sacrificing the G2 for 2 builds, which I don't think they want to do. Okay, Fork sacrifices Y2 to move the large red into Crit's home. Yeah, I don't think that would have worked out. Crit could sacrifice the R2 to capture both that red invader and you know, capture a little red in Fork's home that's threatening to cause more trouble. Fork sacrificing Y2 to move a large blue into Crit's home. That's not too bad. Fork does in fact have enough blue to blow up the blue star. The trouble is that Fork needs more yellow. Fork thinking about a few different things, they end up just doing the simple capture. Okay, so Crit's hope of destroying Fork's yellow star should work out. They simply move in the Y3. They could instead sacrifice the Y3 to move the little yellow across the universe and get 1 additional move action. I don't know what they would want to do with that move action, but that's an option. Looks like they're also contemplating what they could do with that. Oh, sacrifice the Y3 to move in the R2 for the catastrophe. That's peculiar. Now they commit to just moving in the Y3 for a simple catastrophe. They hold on to their remaining yellow ship, and Crit actually blows up the first home star. So good on Crit, but they've left themselves with very little material. I think Fork's going to take this in the end. Fork trades for blue. Fork doesn't really need more blue. What they need is more yellow. I think they should be trading that for a Y3 instead. Yeah, they ended up trading out a B3 for a Y3. I think that's correct. Although doing it at home wouldn't have hurt either. Okay. Crit spreading out their greens. Hoping for a buildup of greens, I suppose. Building an R3. That's still in danger of being overpopulated if Fork brings in 2 more reds. But they would have to sacrifice the Y2 to do it, and so maybe that's worthwhile. Sacrifices Y3 to move in 2 reds. Oh, and the blue. Okay. Well, I'm suffering from commentator myopia here. I didn't think about that, so Fork destroys all of Crit's red and simultaneously moves in a large ship. Fork still has plenty of red, so Crit's out at this point. Alright. And Fork sacrifices to capture everything Crit has left, and that's it. Alright, well, that was a pretty exciting game done in 2 parts. I haven't done a broadcast of a live game in quite a while. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching.